Greetings and welcome to the Leader Show, courtesy of the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya. My name is Lugalia Kelvin and I'll be your host for the day. Today with us in studio, we have a very wonderful guest who will be just helping us to talk about the topic, the heart of leadership. Under this topic, we'll talk about the role of character in leadership, the role of service in leadership, and the role of competence. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes.
And I thank you for having me on Hope TV. My name is Victoria Mulwa, CPP, PCI, PSV, a champion for leading by example and serving intentionally. This is something I really believe in because true leadership is not about titles or positions, but about the impact we create, the integrity we uphold, and the people we empower along the way.
Wonderful.
I am the CEO of Arab Group Limited, a company that assures the people you have employed, the people you are about to employ or engage, are exactly whom they claim to be and have the capacity and the qualifications that they have committed and that they uphold. This is because we trust, but it's good to verify.
Sure.
I'm excited to share insights which will help leaders navigate people, decisions, and even industries well with confidence.
Sure. So when you are mentioning your title, your name, you've mentioned CPP and all that. What does those abbreviations mean?
I'm in the security industry, and there are some certifications that are very crucial for equipping and making one professionally set for the industry. So CPP stands for Certified Protection Professional. PCI is Professional Certified Investigator. I can give evidence in a court of law. And PSP is for Professional Security Professional, especially for the physical security.
Wow. It's so nice to have you. So let's dive deep into our topic. When you talk about the heart of leadership, the role of character, service, and competence, what does it really mean to our viewers?
Thank you. That's a very good question. The art of leadership is the ability to influence with integrity. Integrity is a very essential currency in any profession and even in any Christian living. It includes leading from who you are, not just what you do. Rooted in character, driven by service, and sustained by competence. You can't give what you don't have. That's why as a leader, it is very, very crucial to have these three ingredients.
Wow. So how are these three ingredients work? How do they work together, and how are they helpful for a leader? You know, when you talk about character, when you talk about service, when you talk about competence, how do they work together to bring a good leader?
The three work together very well because character earns trust. A leader has to be trusted. And then service builds connections. Once you are trusted, you will connect with people here and there. You'll create the networks. And of course, competence delivers results. You have to deliver. You have to have results of what you are doing. So a leader should have the three very crucial ingredients for trust and build connections for the organization of wherever institution, and of course to deliver resource. We always say you can't give what you don't have. So you have to equip yourself as a leader first to be able to lead the others.
Is there a way that a leader can have the two and miss one, or have one and miss the two? And how will that look like?
It is not sustainable. The three have to work together. Missing character leads to mistrust. And you can imagine an organization or a leadership where there's no trust, nothing can move. Missing service creates disengagement. People will not be willing to work. Even sometimes you find people are there, but they're not giving their potential. They're not doing what they can really give. And missing competence produces poor results. All the three essentials for long-term influence, they are very essential.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
So when we talk about character, so in what ways does the leader's character influence the culture and performance of an organization?
The character sets the tone of the company. You've heard of some people who leave institutions just because of the leaders, not because they don't want to work in the institution. So character sets the tone. People mirror what they see. There's this popular saying which says, "Mange see, mange do." So it mirrors what the others will do because they follow the example. When leader is ethical, fair, and reliable, it creates a culture where people feel safe, accountable, and motivated to go the extra mile. You'll find you'll not struggle with people doing their duties correctly and passionately.
Wow. So we have leaders. So how do they ensure that, even when you talk about the character, there is a lot that comes in to do with ethical standards. So how do they ensure that ethical standards and integrity guide part of their decision making in their leadership?
To start with, there has to be clear values, modeling them consistently, and embedding them in system. Such transparent procedures that you know this is what you are supposed to do. There are no shortcuts. There are clear guidelines on how to operate. So that is what helps even carry out audits and accountable structures in an organization.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you speak about character, especially in leadership, because you can have a good character and you can have bad character. So how do you distinguish between the two? How do you say that this leader's character forms part of the heart of leadership, and this leader's character does not?
You see, you'll tell by if the association is toxic. You know, there are places where you even dread to go to the office. But there are people's leadership whereby people will be willing to just go the extra mile. So you see toxic cultures, reputational damage, high turnovers, decisions that may benefit for a moment, but destroy long-term trust and stability. So a leader's character will determine how the team will operate. Yes.
So what is the downside of having a leader without a character? Especially being led with, of course they have a character. It's not only that it's not the leadership character. It is the opposite. So what is the downside of having a leader without a leadership character?
You'll find very high turnover of people leaving the institution. You'll find productivity is very low, and people are demotivated.
Sure. And so how do you, because we have leaders who are asking themselves, I am a leader, I'm not sure about my character. So how do they build that to ensure that they have a proper character that forms part of what we are calling the heart of leadership, so that they are able to bring all the three together? How do they build their character?
You know, people have to have self-reflection. Somehow, someone should know themselves and know their strengths, know their weak points, such that they can go for lessons, refresher courses, that they can seek for mentorship and continuous learning, that they improve on themselves. Truthfully, if one listens to feedback, they can know their standing. And even from the way things operate, they can see if things are moving to the right direction, unless they're in denial or unless they just don't care about themselves.
Okay. Does it influence when you have a leader who has a good character? Does it also influence the people that he's leading over or she's leading over?
Definitely, yes, it does.
Okay.
Because we have admirers. We admire good leaders. I'm sure even you, if I ask you, can you name some good leaders? Just by their character. They don't even have to say anything. They go somewhere, they make institutions thrive very well. They live very well with people. They are humble. They empower people. They delegate to people.
Sure. So when we move from character, because we are talking about three things that are interrelated, you have character and then you have service. So how do you bring out service, especially in the modern life, where you need to have a leader who has a heart of service?
With service, as I said, you serve from the front. You are there for the people. You lead the way. You don't preach water and take wine. So service is just by modeling, ensuring that you are in the front, you are available, you are there to guide, you are equipped to make sure that you give the appropriate leadership. Yes.
For leaders, is it possible? Because in most of our institutions, you'll find that the leaders, when you look at the work that they need to do, they have a lot of meetings, they have a lot of work that they need to do. How do they balance between doing their day-to-day tasks and bringing it to a level of they are serving also the people? How do they break that balance?
There's something I would like to say. Being committed and surrendered to the Lord for the grace to work and guide you. Like, I would give an example of myself. I'm the CEO of Arab Group Limited. I serve in several boards. I've served in the board for Kenya High, I've served for Machakos Girls, and Kasarani Vocational and Training College. By the grace of God, I realize I have a way of balancing the two. One has to be very intentional that you don't take time for for some organizations and you fail to serve on the other one. So this one is when you are really, really committed and very, very disciplined, and I will still repeat, intentional on making sure you serve all these institutions well. So we are told to ask and it shall be given unto us, and the Lord gives us the strength to ensure that we can balance all of them.
Sure. When the Lord gives us a task, He also equips us for that role. So, what impact does servant-oriented leadership have on team engagement? Because definitely, when you are serving, there are people that you are serving, and there are people that you are serving with. So, how does your servant leadership impact them?
First, you have to enable them. You have to trust them, and you have to give them their space. Cause them at least to feel that they are independent. You can oversight. Try to see that at least they are following what is supposed to be. You don't micromanage them, but you give them that freedom to do what you have assigned them to do. And if, as I started by saying, they are qualified and they are good, they will see and follow the right procedures.
Okay. So how do you create that system? Because you have people. How do you create that system of servant leadership where the people that you are serving with, your staff, get to have that culture of being servants before their positions, before their titles, before their roles?
It's by enabling them, not controlling them. Mm-hmm. Show up mentorship, empowering them, removing barriers, and listening intentionally. You have to listen to them.
Okay, so enabling them, mentorship, and when you talk about mentorship, definitely there are young people who will want to be leaders, who will want to take over, or we have young leaders who are growing. They have just taken their leadership roles. And so how do you even merge that aspect of mentorship between the current leaders that we have and the young leaders who are growing up into growing them to be servant leaders?
One thing I know, building structures, rewards, collaborations, and at least appreciating every lived to milestone they make. But at the same time, corrective measures when they do the wrong things and guiding them properly. This develops them and makes them feel safe and secure.
Sure. So we have the aspect of character and service. Before we talk about competence, how do these two roles work together when you talk about character and service? When you bring because you need to be a servant, but there's also an aspect of how do you do your service that brings out your character. So how do these two work together?
They work together because if you do your services well, you serve as though you were serving the Lord. I always love the quote by the late Griffiths from Starehe. When you are given that cup, wash it like it has never been washed before. Mm-hmm. So that service, giving it the best you can, gives a very nice lead of how your team will behave. And of course, consistency builds that character and causes the performance to skyrocket. And for the people around you to feel safe and to follow. Because if you are doing it, they will not have any reason not to do it. You cannot tell people to be coming to the office very early and you are the one who comes very late. So you lead from the front.
Yeah, sure.
And consistency.
The aspect of consistency.
Yes.
The aspect of consistency. That is quite amazing. And I would like us to take a short break. And when we come back, we'll just be speaking about the aspect of competence. And then now we bring all the three together just to see how do you influence your leadership with these three things when we talk about character, when you talk about service, and when we talk about competence. See you after the break.
Thank you.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of. Join John Carson every weekday as he takes us on a journey through the Bible.
Whoever shall seek to save his life, if you go back to living for yourself, you're going to lose it. But whoever shall lose his life, give up his life for my sake, he shall preserve it.
Enjoy interesting, knowledge-packed, yet simple teachings through his humor and in-depth understanding of God's Word.
The last people that tried to put God in a box literally. He rose again. He wouldn't stay in their compartment. If God was small enough for me to figure out, he wouldn't be big enough for me to worship.
Tune in to Hope TV for John Cusson every 10 p.m., 4 a.m., and 10 a.m. weekdays on Hope TV, where you look and live.
The Asian community in Kenya has been nationally recognized as the 44th tribe of the people of this great nation.
For me, God is real in Christianity. I talk to Him, He talks to me. I fail, He forgives me.
When I first read the first book of Genesis, it gave me an orderly sense of accounts of creation. Day 1 is what He does. Day 2, He creates this. Day 3.
Every third Thursday of the month, we bring you Asia Testify,
where we will be listening to life-transforming stories of Asian believers who have walked with the Lord. Only here on Hope TV. Look and live.
Welcome back. This is the Leader Show, and today we are just talking about the heart of leadership, where we are looking at character, service, and competence. And we have our guest here who was helping us just break down all these three things. And we are now talking about competence. What is competence?
Competence assures people that the leader can deliver. Mm-hmm. You are able to deliver. You are able to carry out the assignment. You are knowledgeable about the subject matter. You can guide, and you can be able to even ascertain when things are not being done well. Because we like saying, if you know, you know. Mm-hmm. So when a leader knows their craft, it builds confidence, sharpens decision making, and earns respect. Leaders, we have to equip ourselves with knowledge, learn, be at the top of everything, that your team knows that you know. And as I've said, you'll demand the respect.
Because they already know that whatever you're asking from them, you know, yes. You know it. And maybe someone will ask, because we live in a world that changes very fast. We have technology that we keep getting new innovations every day. Mm-hmm. So what is the part of continuous learning when it comes to competence? Because, for example, today you know how to use a certain software, but by the time 1 month passes, there's another software that has been introduced. So how do you how do you ensure that as a leader that you have continuous learning, not just also for yourself, but also for your staff and the people that you are leading?
Continuous learning is non-negotiable. Mm-hmm. Because the industry evolves daily. Things are changing, just as you've rightfully said, and you have to be abreast of that. Leaders who don't learn become bottlenecks. Lifelong learning keeps leaders relevant and innovative. So continuous learning is a must, so that you catch up with what is happening, that you are able to give the best for your institution and even the people you are leading. And you see, if you know, and if you are ahead of your team, you'll also pull them up. You'll cause them to read more. I remember one time, if you are giving an assignment and the staff know you don't know, they'll just relax. They'll not give you the very best. But if they know you are very knowledgeable, they will go that extra mile to dig deeper, because they don't want to come and be embarrassed that they are telling you something which is low below. what is expected of them. So as leaders, continuous learning is non-negotiable.
It is non-negotiable.
Yes.
And so how do you, even as a leader, because as you're learning, you don't leave your staff or the people you are leading to be at the same level. So how do you even increase the level of learning in your leaders? What are the opportunities that you can create for your employees when it comes to learning?
You make sure you enroll them on any possible learning opportunities. You even encourage them, you keep on talking to them, you motivate them, you give awards, and even when possible, you can finance them, you can sponsor them to undertake these courses that will keep them up in the ladder of continuous learning. So it's good for leaders to create such opportunities that they are not the only ones who are learning. They also cause their teams to catch up with them.
Wow, wow. And so when we talk about competence, of course, there is the technical competence, but we also have the softer skills of character, and service, what we have been talking about. So how should leaders balance the technical competence with the softer skills like character and service?
That's a nice question. Competence, I said, wins trust. But character and service win hearts. I repeat, competence wins minds. Character and service wins hearts. So leaders must grow skills without losing empathy, with humility, and with values. So the balance is very, very necessary.
Wow. So they must grow without losing empathy, humility.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
And values.
And the values that they have as leaders.
Because you find what we are experiencing nowadays is lack of the values, or we talk about them, but we do not live them. As Christians in the marketplace, there has to be a difference, and we have not to compromise. We have to be at least different from the rest of the people. Sometimes it really pains me when you hear, this is how things are done. But you see, unless I and you and the other person begin reflecting true Christian life in the marketplace, we'll keep on complaining. And it's not about who has not done what or who is leading poorly. It's about how, at my own jurisdiction, am I living the right way.
Wow. So there is something you've said about walking the talk. So I'm just wondering, for leaders, because when you want things to be done in a certain way, you need to lead by example. So how do you ensure that you are also leading and not just telling people to do things that you are not able to do, the aspect of competence, but you're also together with them and showing them this is how things are supposed to be done? So how do you go about that as a leader?
It is when you do things in the open, you live an open life, and they'll know it. If, like where I work at Arab Group Limited, if we are doing tenders, they know we don't bribe. They know we just follow the procedures. They know we comply to statutory requirements. They know we have all the certifications that are required for the industry. So there are these things which it's just by doing them, not talking, they will see and they will follow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when we have character, we have service, and we have competence, we form a good leader.
Very.
So how do these three things interact together?
Character is the foundation. It sets the pace. Service is the expression. It's seen. And competence is the execution of the work. Together, they create leaders who are trusted, respected, and high performing. When the foundation is good, our house will be very strong. It will be seen. Service is expression, it's what we see. And of course, competence with the results coming out will be seen the performance. So leaders, we have to marry these three together if we want to be effective and if we want to be great role models in the marketplace, especially Christian leaders.
Do you have examples? It can either be a biblical example of, or because you have also led in a number of spaces. So where these three things worked together, if you can just help us to show us how do these three things work together in a practical way.
I'll give my own example. When it comes to matters faith, I don't compromise. And I carry that tag, that DNA, wherever I go. In the office, they know we pray in the morning, we commit everything to the Lord. And then, when I started, or when we opened this company, I got into reading. The CPP, the PCI, the PSP. I was an only lady in a class full of men and from security background, the police and the armed forces. By the grace of God, it made me the first lady to acquire what we call triple certification, the three.
Wow, congratulations.
In Kenya, East and Central Africa. So this reading gives someone the competence. It gives you the authority to command the operations or even the assignments because you are knowledgeable. And then, of course, service. You are there to serve. I'm the first person to be in the office. Many times I'm the last one to serve. And wherever I am, I'm always on notice that I'm at this place and I give it my best, sacrificially. So what I can say, the three can be seen. And I'm one person who emphasizes on let people read you, not you saying what to do. Yes.
Let people read you?
Yes.
Not
I talking and saying, I'm this. People can see.
People are able to look at you and say, when we talk about competence, indeed you are competent. It is not you saying it by yourself.
Thank you.
Wow.
When
wow.
it means service, I serve. I've said I'm in several boards, and I'm not just there for the name. I serve, I'm committed. And matters faith, I serve. I served as a Bible study coordinator in the church. So I'm committed all around. And in the family, I'm a great mother. I cook sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm a farmer. In the farm, I'm there. And you'll find I don't just try, I do it a big way. And there's evidence that there's a big God behind what I do.
Wow. So how can organizations mature leaders? Because we need to have leaders who have all these three things. How do they just mature leaders who embody all the pillars consistently? So that we have leaders who are competent, we have leaders who have character, we have leaders who are servants.
It's through intentional leadership development, mentorships, value trainings, continuous skills development, and performance systems that reward both results and behaviors. Every person has a mentor. Even those whom we think they're on eye circles, they have mentors. There are people who check on them. it's always advisable to have someone who keeps you on track, who tells you you've derailed from the path, who tells you congratulations, keep it up. So those are very, very important for training and keeping leaders, because anybody can become a good leader if they're intentional. We know what is wrong, we know what is right, and with purpose and intention and guided by the word of God, we can become what God wants us to be, to serve diligently as though we were serving him.
Wow, we can become what God wants us to be. And so when for all leaders, you know, when we look at leadership, we just look at it from the workplace environment. And most of the time we forget that they also have families, you know, they have communities that they come from. So how do you balance your leadership and your personal life when it comes to your family? How do you balance between the two?
You know, as the Bible says, you have to start in Jerusalem before you go to Judea. Mm-hmm. So you have to be a good leader in your house first. Can your children, can your spouses trust you? Are they happy with what you are doing? Because you start leadership from the house. And of course, in the church, because it builds us and it makes us better. Mm-hmm. And then now we are equipped to go to the marketplace.
When we talk about leadership at home and at work, what are some of the characters that you need to see in a leader? What are some of the things that you need to see? Well, I know you've mentioned something to do with integrity. What are the other things that you need to see?
Good upbringing of your family, family unity, family growth. You know, we serve a mighty God. Mm-hmm. And he says he will bless us in the city, in the offices, in the market. So I always say, let there be evidence of that role model. The other day, a friend of mine was telling me, you know, I'm telling my kids to go to church and they are not going. Then I asked her, are you going yourself? No, you know, I'm watching online. Then they'll also follow what you do. Mm-hmm. So I still emphasize, by the grace of God, we should be the role models. We do that which we want them to do. And guided by the word, we'll be the first timekeepers, mm-hmm. if it's going somewhere. If it is even assignments at school, we'll be there to guide them, to lead them, that they excel. If it is anything, even those who are of age, I realize they follow the example they see from home. Mm-hmm. A lady would want to marry someone who is like their dad, or will not want to marry because their dad mistreated their mother. So that's why the home setup is the beginning of everything. Mm-hmm. Is what dictates how we behave out in the marketplace. That's why you find sometimes someone disturbed at home may not perform very well in the office. And that's why the balance has to be very necessary. If you have peace of mind at home, you go to the office, you are an excellent performer.
So you are talking about the evidence of role model. So,
yes.
So that when you are telling your children to go to church, you also need to be there, to be leading by example.
Yes.
Which is quite a very good way to bring it in. But let's just ask. There are leaders who probably, because when you're talking about competence, there are areas that you'll be knowledgeable about, but there are areas that probably you don't really know well. And among your staff members, you have someone, in your team, you have someone who is better in that area. Because how do you also level down as a leader and give others opportunities to take leadership, because you can't be leading in everything, even in the areas that there's someone who is better than you. The aspect of recognizing that there's someone who is better in this, how do you bring that in as a leader?
You know, good leaders identify talents and make sure they use that diverse to bring institutions up. Of course, a good leader just guides the team to work for them. If you empower people, you let them loose, you recognize them, of course you'll have less work to do. And maybe with that, I would love to share the story of Jethro and Moses. I just read. It's Exodus 18. Moses' father-in-law replied, "What are you doing? What you are doing is not good. And the people who came to you will only wear yourself out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. Listen now to me, and I'll give you some advice. And may God be with you. You must be the people's representative before God and bring their dispute to him. Teach them his decrees and instructions, and show them the way they are to live and how they are to behave. But select capable men from all of the people. Men who fear God, trustworthy men, who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens." If you read that story of Moses and Jethro, it answers your question. Identify. Keep people with capabilities.
Capable men.
People who fear God. And then yours will just be handling the tough questions. What they can handle, empower them to handle. What they cannot, chip in. I think that's a role model we can adapt as Christians.
Wow.
Mentorship. Jethro is mentoring the son-in-law. Who is mentoring you as a leader? Who is mentoring me as a leader? So that they pick my strength, they pick my weak points, so that at least I can have a balance and give the best leadership.
Wow. So how do leaders now then assess? How do leaders assess when it comes to, how will they assess their character? How do they assess their competence? How do they assess their service so that they keep improving in all these three areas when it comes to their leadership? How do they assess themselves?
Self-reflection is very, very important. Be truthful. You know, I know myself. There are those two areas, gray areas, I feel I must work on them. So self-reflection and self-awareness is very important. Seeking feedback from your team, from your peers. Mentorship and coaching. When you get a good mentor, they'll walk the journey with you. Continuous and professional learning. We said learning is continuous, never ends. Practicing empathy and active listening. That is an area you find some leaders are weak. They just want to dictate, to talk. They don't want to listen. Do you know you can get an advice from even someone of low cadre? Listen and just pick what is good. And of course, making value-based decisions, even when costly. Now, sometimes some decisions will have to be a bit costly.
Wow. So as a leader, I have assessed myself.
Yes.
And I've looked at all these things that you're mentioning. And I realized probably my weak point is character.
Yes.
Or maybe I have a weakness in my service. Or maybe probably incompetence because I don't keep on learning. So how do I get out of that? How do I improve myself then?
You take step of faith and start the journey of working on it because you know. Once you know, you can now look for ways of him. Do you need to go to school? Do you need someone to work with you? You take the step of faith and start work on progress on those areas.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
but with honesty with yourself. I always say you can never lie to yourself. You can lie to other people, but you can't lie to yourself. And of course to God. So you also pray that God helps you, because sometimes there are some things which might be a challenge, which needs some spiritual engagement, especially some character. You may find someone has that spirit of stealing or doing something which is not good. As long as you are aware and you are committed to being helped, you will get better and improve.
Wow. This has been an amazing hour. And maybe before we bring this to a close, I'd like to ask, what is your key takeaway for those who are watching us when it comes to the heart of leadership, when it comes to character, service, and competence?
I will say, at the end of the day, leadership is not about being in front. It's about being responsible, being accountable, and being intentional with the influence we carry. When we lead with character, serve with humility, and show up with competence, we don't just move organizations forward, we move people forward. And that is a true legacy of leadership, leaving people, places, and systems better than we found them. And always, always to have God, to put God first in everything you do.
Leaving places better than we found them.
Yes.
And always have God.
Yes.
God to lead us.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on the Leader Show. This has been an amazing hour having you, just listening to your thoughts. That is quite helpful. Thank you. That has been our guest, Victoria Mulwa, CPP, PCI, and PSP. Wow. Very wonderful titles. Will you want to say something before we close?
I just say thank you for the opportunity. Leaders, we have an assignment, divine assignment. Let's make good use of that opportunity granted unto us and serve as though we are serving our master and leave that mark. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching the Leader Show. Until next time, same place, same time, I've been your host, Lugalia Kelvin, on the Leader Show.